Have you ever walked into a room and you felt like something has shifted, but nobody's really saying anything, but you feel a lot of this passive aggressive energy? Welcome to Accelerated Hypnotherapy. My name's Liana West and I'm a trauma recovery specialist. And what we're going to talk about today is coalition betrayal, because sometimes betrayal by a partner isn't always sexual. Betrayal can come from patterns that have always existed and might seem harmless, but feel wrong to you somehow. And you're not just being oversensitive. You have to listen to your intuition. When I speak with people who have experienced betrayal, I almost always hear that women who listen to their partners and they're gaslighting over their own intuition. And that's also something that I had to rediscover after D-Day, because like so many of my clients, my intuition was screaming at me, and it had receipts, actual Victoria receipts with all kinds of different lingerie, and only one of them was for me in my size. They were all different sizes. So sometimes my clients have had these feelings. Their intuition is telling them that something is going on with their partner. So you might bring something up that doesn't feel right, and you bring it up with your partner, and then they make you wrong, and they make you feel like you're crazy for even bringing it up or thinking about it. If your partner is gaslighting you, that might be a clue to really listen to your intuition, because you might be onto something. And rather listening to someone else over what your intuition is telling you, just listen for what your intuition might be really telling you. One of the most subtle ways of betrayal is when your partner or a friend or a family member or somebody that you work with forms a coalition with someone else against you. So this is when your partner turns to another person or a group of people to create a coalition who side against you, or by their silence go along with what's being said by your partner. And it doesn't necessarily have to be what happened, but it's this story that your partner is selling, and it sometimes isn't even close to what actually happened. And they use this story and this coalition to create this subtle attack on you, because everybody sides with them in believing that you're the problem. So at work, it might look like your boss calling you into their office and saying, it's come to my attention that people think that you're doing X or being Y. And this person, this supervisor, or it could be a colleague, some small person that wants you to feel like everybody's against you. And when you say, oh, really? Who are those people? They'll say, well, I just want to protect their privacy and it's confidential. So these people can be real or imagined, but what they're trying to do is make you feel like you're over there on your own. If it's happening with your partner, they might even name names saying that these people agree with them. And you have no idea what your partner's been saying to these people, what made up stories, and you have no idea in what light they are painting you in. And you can feel this happening because this really doesn't help you feel good about these people. It doesn't help your relationship with these people. And that's the whole thing, is to make you feel isolated and alone and wrong. And these people might even be acting in a certain way with you now, because they feel like they can't come out and say what your partner has told them because your partner's told them in confidence. They might come across in a real passive aggressive way. So you might get this weird energy coming from these people that are in coalition with your partner. And it often happens with intense codependent relationships with their family. So it could be your partner has this intense borderline codependent relationship with a parent or a child. It's that kind of fusion when someone is so tangled up in a parent or a child where they're not really sure where their feelings end and the other person's begins. And it can often look just like it's family dynamics. Like, I've always just gone to my parents or a relative before I do anything, or I run things by this person. And this type of dependence is coming from a person who is actually an adult. And what it does is it creates triangulation. So instead of just working something out with you, your partner is pulling in a third person or people to take their side, to make you feel outnumbered. And maybe those people will even say things to you that your partner feels that they can't say to you. So it's like being in a relationship with more than one person. And it's happening around you, maybe behind your back, instead of with you. These conversations aren't including you. And the third person will not come out and say anything directly to you. So you never get to really know what's being said about you. You're never able to defend yourself or clarify what's happened or tell your side of the story. And it's a betrayal by your partner. And that betrayal starts to spread to these people that you also trusted. They might be your partner's relatives, people that you liked, but now this other person is being pulled into this triangulation by your partner. It could be a mutual friend, a relative, or a colleague. This betrayal becomes more complex, and the third person feels a certain way about you because they've adopted the perspective of your partner in the absence of being able to hear your side of the story. And the story that your partner is telling may or may not be true. It might not be totally accurate. And it creates a whole nother level of gaslighting. By the time you realize there's something wrong, there's a person or a bunch of people that have this version of an event or an experience of you that has nothing to do with your version of reality. It's like being in a bar fight and you're up against a bunch of bros. And when you're with those people that are siding with your partner, you feel like something's shifted, like they're treating you or they're responding to you or they're excluding you in a real passive aggressive way, but nobody's saying anything. And it affects your feelings of trust because you feel like you aren't really able now to trust these people. And you feel surrounded and outnumbered, just like in a bar fight, but it's with people that you genuinely liked. It's often family, so it can just look like simple family dynamics because I always talk to my mom, but they're talking about you and you feel excluded. You feel like you're in the minority and your partner is actually doing this on purpose. And you definitely do not feel like a priority. You don't feel like you have that special connection in this area, and it feels like betrayal. And this isn't a problem with in-laws, it's a problem with loyalty. It's your partner betraying you instead of standing with you as a partner, as a strong bond that can't be broken, that gets stronger over time. Your partner is emotionally aligning with someone else and taking a position against you. They might be sharing private details about your relationship. And what begins to happen is the other person starts to become attached and involved with what's happening because they don't realize that they're being told a story that only has one perspective in it. Then they develop opinions. That third person begins to have opinions about the issues that you are having with your partner and starts having a say in the issues that you have with your partner and what's going on in your relationship. But they're only hearing the bad stuff, none of the connection or the loving stuff. So they start to get this really skewed information. They start to feel a certain way about you. And your partner has created a triangle and is getting emotional support from the other person. And you're alone over here. And over time, you'll start to feel unprotected you will actually start to feel unsafe within their family. And you will definitely feel outnumbered, and you will feel something as a result of their behavior, because behavior is a language. And your intuition will tell you that they have a certain feeling about you and something has happened. And here's the thing. Even though you might resolve that issue with your partner won't give that other person the update. So that person will still be in the past holding grudges on behalf of your partner towards you, and then letting you know through their behavior. Behavior is a language. You can get the communication through someone's behavior. When you got together with your partner, there was an unspoken agreement that you are both on the same team. And that means that the relationship comes first. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to agree with everything that your partner says, or that your partner has to agree with everything you say, because Gottman couples therapy says that there's going to be disagreements that you will never reach agreement on, that you will never resolve. And so instead of making this about agreeing with everything, your relationship is about navigating the disagreements without creating coalitions, triangulations, and betrayal. So if your partner is repeatedly looking to someone else for their approval or comfort when you have a disagreement, and you're starting to feel this as a threat, and you are starting to feel like you don't matter and you're not important, that you're not a priority, like your relationship isn't the priority, and it feels like there's a third person in your relationship, it might even start to affect the way you feel about yourself, your confidence, your self-worth in this relationship. And that's totally understandable, because it feels like this third person is being prioritized based on their agreement with your partner. And your partner might be defending them over you. And you feel like the odd man out. You're feeling like you're the bad guy. Anytime that you sense that a private conflict is being shared and discussed with someone else, you're going to feel betrayed. You're not being too sensitive. This is betrayal inside a relationship. And betrayal doesn't have to be sexual. What isn't happening is a healthy emotional separation from your partner and their family of origin. And that relative appears to occupy the space of that primary attachment for your partner. And so your feelings will be minimized, and they'll turn to that other person for comfort. Instead of working it out with you, they will go and vent and get emotional comfort, agreement from the other person. So there's not a lot of space for you. When your partner are no longer solving problems together, they're being solved somewhere else, you will always end up looking like you're the problem. You're going to feel like you're in survival mode, like your brain and your body are feeling the loss of your partner to somebody else, and that you've lost that position of priority, or maybe you never had it. And this is non-sexual betrayal. And it might be how it's always been for your partner, but it's creating a deep division, and it deserves to be acknowledged for what it is and how it makes you feel. This is not about changing your partner, because if you're healing and feeling better depends on what your partner does or doesn't do, you might be waiting for a long time. Instead, this is about you. It's about you getting the clarity that you need. Betrayal is not something that can be solved with the conscious mind, because we're limited to what we know or what we've experienced before. But instead, when you get out of the way with your conscious mind, I can connect you with your superconscious mind, and you can access a space of infinite possibilities. And inside of that space, you can find resources and answers that are not just limited to what you already know, but possibilities that are perfect for you and your relationship. If you're interested in accessing this space of infinite possibilities, there's a link in the description, and let's connect on the next one.